What's going on, guys? We're back again with the commands of Christ, and today's command is go and sin no more. And it's a message about forgiveness, and it's a message about mercy. And the key factor in this is to understand, how does God view us when we make mistakes, when we are falling short, missing the mark, regardless of the degree of missing the mark. How does He think? How does He view? How does He feel and treat us? We have so many examples, and in John chapter 8, we see, historically, we know that, Mary Magdalene's reported that she had 7 demons casted out of her. We have very strong historical evidence that in John chapter 8, that this woman described that was caught in the act of adultery was Mary Magdalene. And whether it was or wasn't doesn't matter. What matters is his thought process for this young lady that is caught in the very act of adultery. And at that time, it called for stoning. So I was going to read a passage from John chapter 8. At dawn he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" And they were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let any of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." And again, he stooped down and starts writing in the sand. And all of these people, starting with the oldest ones first, they start walking away. Now, if it's, imagine, this happens in your town. It's a small town. Everybody's outside, everybody's picking up stones, and they're ready to get it. I would imagine husband would be somewhere nearby, right? I mean, logically. And Jesus straightens up and asks her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No, sir. No one." Listen to this. "Then neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin." In another place it says, "Go and sin no more." Now imagine with me for 1 minute that this woman was Mary Magdalene. Look at the life she led. She was the only one that stood by Christ's side all the way through, man. In his arrest, when he was sent to Annas and Caiaphas, and with Pontius Pilate. And we can see historically in the Gospel of Nicodemus, she testified in his, for him. She testified in his defense in that trial with Pontius Pilate. Now, whether or not you regard that as scripture doesn't matter, folks. It's historical documentation. You're seeing a woman that was transformed from forgiveness. In another place, Jesus says that the more that you're forgiven for, the more sincere you'll be. The greater the appreciation the closer and more loyalty you have for what you've been forgiven. Amazing story, guys. Amazing story. We see she's the only person. She was the first person to be told that Jesus resurrected from the dead. That's fact. I don't, to heck with the gospel of Nicodemus. Look in the Gospels. She was who he revealed himself to at a time where women had no respect, folks. None. Their testimony was worth about as much as a child or a dog. That's fact. And he shows himself to her. She has to then go and report this to the apostles. And they didn't believe her. Jesus shows up. Wow. Wow. Amazing. I got another one for you. So, and a question, where's the faith in that? Where's the faith in that? Bro, you're about to get stoned to death. These cats that talk about, you have to have monumental faith. We see Jesus saying you have to have if you have the faith, you can move mountains and all this kind of stuff. So people say, that's why they didn't get healed, brother, because they didn't believe it. Well, why didn't she get stoned? If you were about to get stoned, where would your head be at? I'm sure it would be negative thinking. I'm sure you're thinking you're about to die. And guess what? God thought for her. God had faith for her. In her moment of weakness, right after having sex with somebody else, dude. Cheating on your husband and everything. How ashamed, afraid to die. And Jesus didn't condemn her, man. He did. Wow. You want to know how God thinks? Read the story. Here's another one. Tell me where this guy's faith is at. They arrive at the country of the Gerasenes, opposite of Galilee. He stepped out on land. A man of the city who had demons met him. For a long time, he wore no clothes. So he was walking around naked, and he didn't live in a house, but he lived in tombs. Folks, can you imagine? I'm sure you guys have seen horror movies. And if you say you didn't, you're lying. Come on. Everybody's seen horror movies, okay? And think about it. This man lives his life naked, inside of tombs, folks. Now think about what his faith level is. He has no spiritual mind. When he saw Jesus, he fell down before him and shouted at the top of his voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me." For Jesus had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For many times it had seized him. He was kept under guard and bound with chains and shackles, but he would break the bonds and be driven by the demon into the wilds. Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" He said, "Legion." For many demons had entered him. Legion, guys, Legion is 10,000. They begged him not to order them back to go into the abyss. Guys, this is evil beyond your understanding. It's evil beyond your comprehension, but beyond my comprehension. It's out there. Now there on the hillside, a large herd of swine was feeding, and the demons begged Jesus to let them enter these. So he gave them permission. Then the demons came out of the man, entered the swine, and the herd rushed down into the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. When the swineherders saw what had happened, they ran off and told it to the city and the country. People came out to see what had happened, and when they came to Jesus, they found the man from whom the demons had gone sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind. Those had seen it told him how the one who had been possessed by demons had been healed. Then all the people of the surrounding country, the Gerasenes, asked Jesus to leave them, for they were seized with great fear. So he got into the boat and returned. The man from whom the demons had gone begged that he might be with him. But Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return to your home and declare how much God has done for you." Where was his faith, guys? Where was his faith at? Jesus had faith. Jesus had mercy. This is a message about mercy. It does not matter what we've done. It doesn't matter where we've been. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter. Guys, he's so amazing. I use the demoniac as an example because the guy's not even there, man. He's mentally not there. And God had compassion. The woman, it's an extreme case. I understand it's an extreme case, but it's a great example. It's at your absolute hopeless death. Mercy, folks. Mercy. Go and sin no more. That's it. Go and sin no more. You are dealing with a God that is so wonderful. That is so wonderful. We can't even imagine. We can only see examples. But this is a message today about mercy. And I encourage you guys, it doesn't matter what has happened. You need to look and think and visualize the mind of God and the mercy. We know the wrath, guys. We know that. We live it. We experience it. The mercy. Anyway, guys, I encourage all of us to turn to Jesus Christ and to allow His mercy upon us. Y'all have a wonderful day and be blessed, and thanks for listening.